for Salvador. Dude, I can't fucking fight this guy. Okay, now we gotta reload. He's... Go, 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 go! Since fucking when? I'm dead. I'm actually dead.
1998.
How? Dogs do like the most damage in the fucking game. Not on.
Looking out.
Super old phone.
Open the gate, dominate, pushing my own weight.
This is a throwback game.
In 88, hip-hop took control. Back then, when my girlfriend's name was Nicole. Rest in peace, her soul. We had fun, I think back. Child prodigy, gifted in black. Freestyling, we wildin', banging on tables. I still have fun, my trio run me and Babel. Living on cable, living on TV screens. Internet, DVD, what does this all mean? My life is like a dream, but inside I wanna scream. Cause when
Fucking throwback.
I wake up, every day is a daydream. Everything in my life ain't what it seems. I wake up just to go back to sleep. I act real shallow, but I'm in too deep. And all I care about, the heavy bass line is my kind of silence. Everybody says that I gotta get a grip, but I let sanity give me the slip. Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me. Some people pay for thrills, but I'm here man for free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me.
Bonkers.
is fun but easy. Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free.
Hey, on it, the pretty iconic. If she born with a home, go check my mom, yeah. Pretty like, go
What the fuck, Major Lasers in the game?
Major laser. Yeah.
The fuck ran that mass horse?
space. Gonna take y'all to a higher place. $4 for a gallon of what? I'm a hybrid, baby, no need to rush. Side chains, squash the bass. Blast, take y'all into outer space. You're a man on a old I'm a hybrid daughter with a hot Ferrari. Everybody woke up 3 in the PM. I feel good, just set up. What I like is girls cooking breakfast, and what I really like is that they cooking. It feels right when you're living your dream. I put my purple pants on and then I step on the scene. Hey, we in the club, rolling the strip with the in the pocket and we ready. Top man, I ain't bumping the method. It's so loud that we might get arrested. At the club, the line is long. Half in the trunk and the rest in the sine waves make the bass. Gonna take y'all to a higher place. $4 for a gallon of what? I'm a hybrid, baby, no need to rush. Side chains, squash the bass. Let's take y'all into outer space. You're a man on the old I'm a hybrid bottle with a hot Ferrari. Cause now she nachos. Sine waves make the bass. Gonna take y'all to a higher place. $4 for a gallon of what? I'm a hybrid, baby, no need to rush. Side chains, squash the bass. Blast y'all into outer space. On the hold up, I'm a hybrid bottle with a hot Ferrari.
are some of the things you've seen during an exorcism?
If you've seen it on Hollywood, I've seen it. The thing that you're going to see the most of is morphing, which is basically where the person changes form or shape. Everything from just women kind of look like a man all the way down to they'll change into the shape of animals.
Like a skinwalker?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you personally seen this?
There was one case I had a long time ago where there was...
My Amusement Park. Use the letters to enter your name. Touch go when you are finished.
On the back of the person's head, the front of the person's face would just go change into the shape of a wolf.
Glad you're here. We need one sharp park builder to create the greatest amusement park ever.
That's it? You just can't...
There's not much to start with, but you can make do.
So I just don't tolerate it because he's trying to...
Start by building special attractions,
But that's all...
food stands, or cool rides, which will help you to earn money to keep on building. So what do you say? Let's get started with your park plan. There are many parks to choose from. Use your stylus to choose a special look for your park. Mountains, safari, desert, tropical. Tropical. Great job! Welcome to your park. Touch your information booth to get started. Here, you can view a list of things to do each day. You can also see how much money you have. This money can be used to build park attractions or to add decorations to your park. Close the information booth to get started. Choose a park plot where you want to build something. Touch the attraction you want to build.
So I bottle all my issues till I drown choking. Lord, I know it's been a while since we last spoken. I just hope that you forgive me for the path chosen.
This is the Fun House. It costs $300. Touch here to build it. Touch the arrow to go back and choose something different. Look carefully at this part of the attraction. When you have the part memorized, touch the check mark with your stylus. Now put that part back together. Touch the check mark when you're done. These pieces are not in the right place. Try again. Great! Here's the next one. This piece is not in the right place. Try again. This piece is not in the right place. Try again. You built the Fun House. Hooray! Let's go check out how your park looks now. Great job! You can touch an attraction to play a game. Touch an empty plot to keep on building. Or touch on the information booth to see what games you can play today. Choose a level. Visitors are losing their things all over the park. Find pairs of their missing items in the bins. Here's how to play. Look here to see how many pairs you need to find. Ready, set, go! Great job!
Game is this?
Amusement park. Fuck.
Magnificent matching! Touch an attraction to play a game. Touch the attraction you want to build. This is the sandwich to build the attraction. Now put that part back together. Touch the check mark when you're done. Great! Here's the next one. You built the sandwich stop. Hooray! Let's go check out how your park looks now. Choose a level. A car is blocked in the parking lot. Use your stylus to move the cars and get the visitor's car to the exit. Cars can only be moved backward or forward.
We got super busy in like 30 minutes.
Ready, set. Choose a level. Here's how to play. Weeds are taking over the garden. If you see one of these weeds pop up in the garden, touch it with your stylus. Be careful. Flowers will pop up too. Don't touch those. Ready, set, go! Wow, that was some great gardening. Congratulations, you've won $25. You have an alert in the park. One of the attractions needs your help. There's something wrong at the sandwich stop. You have an alert in the park. Choose a level. There's a problem at the park attraction. Get the attraction working again by dragging the pipes back in place. Here's how to play. Pipes are scattered everywhere. Use your stylus to connect the red pipes by dragging the pipes back in place. When you have all of the pipes connected, touch the check mark with your stylus. Get ready. Whew! Now it's up and running. That attraction is fixed. Touch the attraction you want to build. This is the haunt. To build the attraction, now put that part back together. Touch the check mark when you're done. These pieces are not in the right place. Try again. Great! Here's the next. You built the haunted house. Hooray! Let's go check out how your park looks now. Choose a level. Visitors are ready, set, go! Great job!
Fuck, I clicked the wrong one in accident. Bruh.
Time is running out. Time's up. Game over.
Try a Mario game.
You said what?
Yeah, this one's a good game. That one's a good game to jack off. I mean, that one's a good game to fuck. I mean, this one's even better. Nah, the last one was better.
I don't even know the controls.
Robin?
Controls.
This one had Birdo. Act, what a cheater act.
Let's go! Choose a game! Super Mario 2! Choose a player!
Did you think that you saw that shit?
Here I come!
So, Chris, I came to a conclusion. I want to fuck a furry.
Just what thank you.
Fuck. I fucked that shit up.
What did they thank you? Just what I needed.
Why can't I get up there? I got up there.
This is as far as you go. Yeah, here I go.
Bruh.
Choose a player. Here I come. Thank you. Oh, mamma mia! Choose a here I come.
jumped over
Choose a
that
player. Here I come.
Here I go. Oh.
Oh, that motherfucker's gonna kill me, so it's
Yeah. Lucky. Here I go. Yeah. Yeah. Lucky. Yeah. Oh, mamma mia.
Choose a player.
that was fucking retarded.
Here I come.
I was on, bro. I fucking died.
Choose a player.
It was so fucking retarded.
Here I come.
Here I go. Yeah.
Choose a player.
Here I come. Yeah, here I go. Yeah, yeah.
Fuck. Fuck that shit up. I pressed
Mamma
to
mia!
jump and it didn't
Choose
jump.
a
Here I come.
Bullshit.
Here I go. Lucky. I'm moving now. I'm moving now. Lucky.
Thank you.
I'm dead. Bro, what? Bro.
Just what I needed.
Mamma mia!
Of course.
Choose a player.
Here I come. Mamma mia!
This stupid ass shit.
us ready, Doze.
Introducing Gatorade Lower Sugar. No artificial colors. No artificial flavors. No artificial sweeteners. And 75% less sugar. Gatorade Lower Sugar. Hydrates better than...
The GameCube was a failure. But it was a pretty fun failure. The GameCube was sandwiched between the N64, which revolutionized the gaming industry with its 3D capabilities and analog joystick, and the Wii, which revolutionized the gaming industry with its motion control and mass market appeal. The GameCube, on the other hand, played games, and it was a cube. And that's pretty much it. But it just so happens that those games that it plays are really, really good. Wind Waker, Resident Evil 4, Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion, Chibi Robo, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Monkey Ball 2, Super Smash Bros. Melee, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Season 2. It also had some of the most insane accessories ever made for any video game console, almost all of which I will be going over in this video, at least the official ones anyway. And I would be willing to bet that most of these, or at least some of these, you have never heard of before. I mean, some of them I don't know why you would even buy in the first place. I now own them and I don't even know why I have them. I'll start with some of the more basic ones and we will move to the weirder, more insane ones towards the end of the video. First, the GameCube component cables, which upgraded the built-in 480i composite cables to a crazy 480p signal. That's a different letter. Whoa! Oh, this is so freaking good! Oh, fuck! I know my special effects budget is pretty high, but I actually do not own these cables. This is just an image that I got off of the internet. This is the only accessory for this video that I didn't actually purchase myself. One, because it is surprisingly very rare and expensive. Nintendo didn't make a lot of these and they stopped selling them pretty quickly. And two, I don't even need it. I already have a third-party HDMI adapter. This thing, the Eon. I've got a comparison here on the screen with the composite GameCube cables versus the component Wii cables, which are a lot more common, or an HDMI adapter, which can be finicky sometimes, but it looks really good and it works well with modern capture devices. But yeah, video cables, pretty basic stuff. You can't play the game if you don't have a video cable, and you also can't play the game if you don't have a controller. That's what this is. You can press the buttons. Personally, I've always been a big fan of the GameCube controller, but there's also the Wavebird controller, an official first-party wireless controller. As we all know, the Wavebird was not the first official wireless video game controller. That was the
CX42 remote control joystick for the Atari 2600.
Common knowledge, really, but the Wavebird was the first truly successful wireless video game controller. But believe it or not, I've never actually tried it before, so let's give it a shot. Ready? Go! Wow, it works. I wonder if I set like 2 phone cameras up and FaceTimed myself if I could play with the wireless controller in the toilet. Ready? Go!
Wait, it's actually working?
I had a couple issues with it here and there, but largely if I was close enough to the GameCube, it worked pretty flawlessly. I don't really find it that necessary. I've always used a wired controller and never had problems with that, but it is pretty cool. But there's also plenty of third-party controllers. Enter the GeForce Turbo controller. Advanced controller for better gaming. This thing has a camera stick for adjustable camera control. The regular controller just has a stupid C-stick. The main feature is the turbo button, which allows you to press a button as fast as possible without actually doing anything. It's basically cheating. So let's see how well it can hold up in a one-on-one against me in a Mario Party button-mashing minigame. Go! Oh. No record! This guy sucks. What do you mean you lost? Well, it barely works. You lost to the computers. And the worst part, he doesn't even have Surfshark VPN. The sponsor of this video. If you want to stay private online, then Surfshark VPN is what you need. A VPN, or virtual private network, covers all your internet activity and keeps your personal information safe from people who want to steal it. One of the best things about Surfshark VPN is just how easy it is to use. You download it, you install it, then you can choose the new virtual location for your PC or smartphone, or just make it easy and click Quick Connect. That's what I do. Surfshark also has unlimited device compatibility, which is great for me because I do a lot of writing at restaurants and coffee shops, things like that, so I'm very frequently on public Wi-Fi with my laptop or a smartphone, which is the perfect opportunity for hackers to strike. But I've got Surfshark, so tough luck, losers.
And there's even the Clean Web feature, which offers ad blocking and malware protection.
But it's not just security. Surfshark can also help you access shows or content that isn't available in your country. I was just trying to show my daughter Cardcaptor Sakura, but they took it off of Netflix. Well, luckily for me, they still got it in Singapore. If you are not currently protected, I've got the deal for you. Go to surfshark.com/PBG or use code PBG at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN, or use the QR code on the screen wherever it is. Checking out my sponsors really helps me out, so thank you, and thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring. But of course, we can't forget the best controller of all time.
Please, Donkey Konga, come down from the sky and save me.
Donkey Konga!
Looking for tax help? Now there are TurboTax experts right in your neighborhood. They get to know your unique situation and get you every dollar you deserve. So hand off your taxes to a local TurboTax expert today. Hi, how are you?
Alright, blinker checkpoint.
This beautiful controller is known as the DK Bongo.
The last one.
These are only compatible with 4 games: Donkey Konga, Donkey Konga 2, Donkey Konga 3, Japan only, and Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. I personally only own the first Donkey Konga game, and pretty much the best game ever made.
One day, Donkey Kong found out drums. The monkeys were really bad at playing the drums, but they wanted to be famous, so they played the drum. That's pretty much it.
In 2005, one of the best games ever released for the GameCube, Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Into the next accessory, the Mario DDR Dance Pad thing. I don't actually remember what it's called. The Action Pad. While you could technically play with a controller, you're clearly supposed to play with the Mario Dance Pad. It may not technically be a great Mario game. In fact, it's not even that good of a dancing game.
It's pretty much what you hear the entire time you're playing.
But if it has one redeeming quality, it's that it is very funny.
The evil Waluigi has stolen all of the music balls, so it's time for the hero of the Mario universe, Luigi, to save the day. And how is he gonna save the day? By dancing!
I love to dance.
Oh no, there's a river we can't cross. I guess we'll have to dance.
If we dance, maybe something magical will happen.
This sounds like some Miss Rachel ass shit.
Can you do this? Do this, and a bus will come out. Good job!
Wow, we did it. Yay! Oh no, we're stuck in a cave. How are we gonna get out? Have you considered dancing? My favorite part is when Luigi shimmy shakes so hard that a giant blooper just offs himself because he can't take it anymore. But yeah, Mario DDR, it's pretty much the best game ever made.
This game sucks.
Dance one more time.
Nah, I'm good.
The Dance Pad was obviously made with Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix in mind, but technically you can play it with any other game on the GameCube. I mean, if you don't want to win.
Wait, hold on. I just realized I can't shoot. I can only move. There's no L and R button. Oh, shit. Run, Leon! Run, please! No, please, oh, God!
So that's a pretty cool side note, I guess. Up next, I have one of my favorite GameCube accessories, and probably the one that I've used the most, the GameCube Game Boy Player. This thing attaches straight to the bottom of the GameCube, and it allows you to, big surprise, play Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. This thing is extra useful if you just so happen to be a 2010s YouTube reviewer and you need footage of a Game Boy game for your next top 10 list, the top 10 stupidest video game characters that suck. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that or not.
The top 10 sweatiest video game balls.
The top 10 dumbest fucking video game characters that I want to murder. I'm trying to think of a character that would be on that list, and I'm not even sure I can think of one.
Potpourri. Honestly, she's so dumb, she deserves to die.
Next, the GameCube Game Boy Advance link cables, which allowed you to link your GameCube to your Game Boy Advance. I'm sure you couldn't have figured that out without me explaining it to you. This would do anything from adding bonus content into a game, to acting as a controller. Something like Wind Waker comes to mind, where you can use the Tingle Tuner to play as Tingle, And you could even use it to do things like trade Pokemon between your Pokemon Coliseum GameCube game to a Pokemon Game Boy Advance game. Roughly 60 GameCube games were compatible with the GBA Link cables. 3 games actually required the Link cables: Pac-Man Versus, The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. The latter of which I actually played as a kid, although being the younger brother, I usually got stuck being the bucket carrier. This was one of the few GameCube accessories I actually did own growing up, although admittedly I didn't use it that much, at least not for multiplayer stuff. Mostly I used it for 2 games, Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. In Animal Crossing, you can use it to visit this very unfortunate animal who lives on the island of Walmart. Wait, so this chick just begged me for furniture and then got mad when I didn't give it to her? I guess I can't blame her though. I mean, this is her house. She just sits alone in this room all day long. It's the most depressing life imaginable. Although I don't know why she owns nothing. I mean, this chick is loaded. The island is actually an underrated way to make bells in this game, and you can even use it to get new items too. Before you leave on the boat with Cap'n, you can save the island onto your Game Boy Advance. You can then have her eat any fruit that you leave on the island, and she'll drop a random amount of bells that you can pick up next time you visit. Or you can do things like bury items in the ground and give her a shovel, so she will dig those up and replace it with another item. Doing this can even get you 2 island exclusive NES games. I, on the other hand, got
garbage can. Garbage can.
In Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, you can use it to connect to your save file in the Game Boy Advance version, Friends of Mineral Town. This will allow the character Van from the GameCube game to come and visit your town in the Game Boy Advance game, which is honestly very cool. You can find him in the 2nd floor of the inn, where he'll sell you a record player and then later on music albums. Oh hell yeah, now I can finally rock out to my favorite song, Girl Event Theme. Doing this honestly is a little bit confusing though. The games use this star system, which is not explained at all. Theoretically, Ruby from the GameCube game will come and sell you recipes too, but I could never find her. I think basically you need to have made certain progress in each game for things to happen the way you want or something. This was a problem for me because I only had 2 A Wonderful Life save files. One I had just started, so I wasn't getting enough star rankings, and the other one I saved right before you die. So getting this footage actually took a few more hours than I was expecting it to. Also, rest in peace to all my animals who died during the fast travels. My bad. Honestly, the Game Boy Advance Link cables are a very cool accessory that probably doesn't get talked about enough. Despite not knowing anyone else who owned them, the GBA Link cables were at least a moderate success for Nintendo. What was not a success for Nintendo, though, was the e-reader. To be fair, this is more of a Game Boy Advance accessory than a GameCube accessory. You insert this into the Game Boy Advance and then use this area at the top to scan different cards. There were cards you could scan to play NES games on your Game Boy Advance, and there was even an entire Mario Party game that used the e-reader called Mario Party E. It came with a bunch of different cards that you scan and then play little mini games on the Game Boy Advance. And it even came with its own board, or at least a board made of paper. Pretty cool, but fairly obscure. Nintendo didn't really do a lot with the e-reader because, again, it did not sell very well. But you could use it with Animal Crossing. They released entire sets of Animal Crossing cards back in the day, similar to the more modern Amiibo Animal Crossing cards. I didn't buy any cards for this video because, 1, they are very expensive these days, and they mostly just give you random items you could get in the game anyway, or some weird letter on your Game Boy Advance.
The world, my final message. Goodbye.
$40 for the e-reader and $70 for every pack of Animal Crossing e-reader cards for this. Wow. Money well spent. And 2, I really wanted to try this technique to print off actual physical dot codes onto printer paper. That way you can scan any card you want on your actual GameCube without having to own the physical card. Yoink. And there are 4 cards in particular I wanted, the cards that give you NES games. 2 of those cards did release, the Ice Climber card and the Mario Brothers NES card, but they are, again, insanely expensive. I am not paying that much money for these. And 2 cards that were planned but never released that allowed you to play Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda in your Animal Crossing GameCube game. A couple years ago, someone named Hunter R actually accomplished this and posted a tutorial of how to do it on YouTube. Now, I tried to get this to work for a very, very long time. Like, I spent hours on this. I bought 2 packs of this very specific printer paper that they said to get. I even bought an entirely new printer just to try and see if maybe it was my other printer that didn't work. No, that didn't work either. But after hours and hours and hours of doing this, it finally still didn't work.
Yo, new beat. Need lyrics.
I'm kind of feeling this.
Try new Little Caesars 4-in-1 sticks with 16 deliciously shareable sticks. There are 16 reasons to try. Reason 1, they're perfect for sharing. Reason 2 through 16, just look at all these toppings. They're making me hungry. Share new Little Caesars 4-in-1 sticks for only
So I gave up. Paper has run out. I have countless, almost hundreds of these codes that I printed off my printer just scattered across my room like a freaking crazy person. And no matter what I tried, it would not work. So yeah, I gave up. Theoretically, it works though. Maybe one of these days I'll get it working. I really do want those NES games in my town. It's kind of driving me crazy actually. But I did get my Mitzi card to work. The only Animal Crossing card that I have, my dear, sweet Mitzi. I scanned her card and she sent me a letter that I did not read. And she also sent me a bed, which I will now treasure forever, I guess.
Hey, Mitzi, consider sending me The Legend of Zelda NES next time, okay? Thanks.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm using my GameCube microphone, the next accessory on this video that I'm talking about. I half considered holding this GameCube microphone the entire time as if I was actually recording audio from this thing, just to see if anybody would comment about it. A lot of these GameCube accessories were only usable for a handful of games, and this is definitely one of them. The GameCube mic is only compatible with 5 games. The first being Obama. This is a pinball game set in feudal Japan where you control an army with your voice while you try to destroy the other army with your pinball. Pretty weird concept, but it is an interesting game, and it's pretty fun too, despite being insanely difficult. I actually failed on the first mission like 10 times. I literally can't beat the first level. I failed so many times that the game was literally making fun of me. He told me to quit. Then there's Mario Party 6 and 7, which have a few different microphone mini games. Fire, missile, drop bombs, laser, missile, 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 drop bombs, drop bombs, drop bombs, drop bombs, drop bomb. I'm so good at killing. All right, gotta protect my Goombas. Scramble! 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 Left, scramble! Scramble! Oh my god, scramble! Left, 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 left! They're dead. They're all dead. Go! Double punch! Whoa! Oh my god! What the hell? I wanted to play longer than that! Mario, his main weakness, I've said this many times before, banana. This thing's broken, don't buy it. Almost all of these could have used just a regular controller, but you know, that's just not as fun as yelling, roll it, 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 roll over and over and over and over. How about Karaoke Revolution Party? I was surprised to see this had a couple mini games. There's one where you use the pitch of your voice to go up or down to hit a volleyball. It works surprisingly well. Oh, yes! Oh. Although it usually just ends up being a lot of grunting. And there's another one where people run off of the stage and you're supposed to shout a word to make them jump, I guess. This one didn't really work very well, unfortunately. I let all those people die, and the worst part is I don't even care. But what you're really getting Karaoke Revolution Party for is the singing. I just realized this is copyrighted, so I'm gonna have to play some royalty-free music during that. Uh-oh, 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 oh no. Got me looking so crazy right now, you kids. Got me looking so crazy right now. Look at the gloves, look at some. Dude, I don't really know this song at all. All right, everybody, hold each other close. You never know, we could all die right now. In like 5 seconds, we could blow up. Or we could like, a meteor could just crash and destroy all of us. So hold each other close and love each other. After my picture fade. This is my favorite part. This game not only uses the microphone, but it's also one of the few games that was made specifically for the Mario DDR dance pad, so you can sing and dance at the same time.
Some boys kiss me, some boys hug me. I think they're okay if they don't give me proper consent. Just walk away. And I am a material girl.
Yeah, nailing it. I'm tired just selecting the song.
Hey! Tell me I'm the only one. Wanna come over tonight? Yeah, that's what I like about you.
Which is pretty difficult to do, to be honest. And also, weirdly enough, Chibi Robo, where you can use the microphone to yell at him.
Hey, Chibi. Hi. What are you doing? Are you good? Are you doing good? Are you a good friend? Are you gonna be my friend? Are you gonna talk to me? Are you gonna do anything? He died. He bled out.
Now, I went over some controllers earlier, but I still have one left. One of the most expensive as well as most useless GameCube controllers, the GameCube keyboard controller.
What the fuck?
Huh? Yes, this is a real thing. I first saw this about 10 years ago when I saw someone playing Smash Brothers with it, and I thought, wow, that's a little bit strange, but hey, at least you can easily type letters to your villagers in Animal Crossing. I don't know if I would buy an entire controller just to write letters to frickin' Lobo, lazy bastard, but kinda cool. But no, you cannot use this with Animal Crossing. Well, unless you're this guy who apparently figured out how to mod it to work with an actual GameCube somehow. But I'm not like that guy. I am not intelligent. So for normal people like me who just so happen to own one of these things for some reason, you can only use it for one thing and one thing only. Phantasy Star Online, a GameCube MMO which you can't even play anymore, which somehow makes it even more useless than I initially thought. It's almost comically useless. But as it turns out, you actually can still play this GameCube MMO. Most people probably didn't even know you could go online with the GameCube. I mean, I certainly didn't back in the day. But you in fact can with the next accessory that I have, the GameCube broadband adapter. Now this thing could do LAN, local area network, basically a local multiplayer using multiple GameCubes. It worked with 1080 Avalanche, Kirby's Air Ride, Mario Kart Double Dash. So for example, if you had 4 GameCubes, 4 adapters, 16 GameCube controllers, and 4 copies of Mario Kart Double Dash, you could play with 16 people. This has probably happened maybe less than 50 times ever in the entire world, but you can do it. But again, it could also actually connect to the internet. Yes, GameCube Online. Unfortunately, the Phantasy Star Online series was the only game on the GameCube to actually utilize that, as well as a Japanese exclusive RPG called Homeland that I am largely unfamiliar with. Gotta get that one in there before they correct me in the comments. The official servers no longer exist, big surprise there, but there is still a couple fan servers that you can still connect to, whether on an emulator or a real GameCube, as I did to this day. There's even a Discord server where people link up and play the game. I haven't actually set it up myself yet, but let's see if future PBG has figured it out.
Hello. I figured it out.
Oh yeah, baby. Dumpo is in the building and he's ready to fuck shit up. While it was really awesome to be logged on to a MMO on a GameCube in the year 2026.
Google, show me this guy's balls, please.
It was a little bit confusing for me.
What the hell am I doing?
Luckily, I did find a few people who were willing to help me, and they ran me through the first dungeon or instance, and I was helping.
Y'all, let's take a beat to unplug.
Great idea. I'll unplug the internet.
Not the internet, Ellie. Our minds.
Either way, our AT&T Business Fiber comes with 5G backup. It keeps us connected even during network disruptions.
Dreaming of the perfect family trip?
Who are you?
Penny, Priceline's AI.
We even beat a dragon boss. Okay, yeah, I got completely carried. The gameplay felt a little bit simplistic to me, but I've played other older MMOs like World of Warcraft Classic, and it always starts out like that. I assume it gets more fun and complex as you level up. Overall, pretty cool experience. I don't know if I could recommend actually buying the physical equipment that you need to play this, considering how expensive and rare it is, but you could always find other ways to do it on the internet. I won't say the exact way of using it, but it starts with the same letter of the animal emu. me later. Good job, future PBG. I'm very proud of you. Or you're a disappointment to everyone, including your own family. That's probably already true regardless of whether you got it to work or not. And now we are moving on to what are, in my opinion, the coolest GameCube accessories ever. I would have absolutely loved to have owned these when I was a teenager. The GameCube portable LCD screen, as well as some GameCube portable speakers. While there were no first-party portable LCD screens that I'm aware of, there were a few third-party ones. There's a few different versions, but I have the Hipgear portable 5.4-inch LCD screen 3, or is that supposed to be cubed, like a pun on the GameCube? I'm not sure. It's a little bit scratched up, unfortunately, but it does still work. Uh-oh, I may have broken it. Oh, okay. Don't mess with the brightness setting. Well, most of the time it works anyway. The speakers on it are absolutely terrible, though. Which is why I got the portable GameCube speakers. These aren't even really necessarily GameCube speakers. They're just speakers that have the GameCube logo on it for some reason. They also came with a CD player and some crappy headphones. But I guess for the sake of this video, I can call them GameCube accessories. I mean, they have a GameCube logo on them. They're GameCube speakers. Being able to take the GameCube anywhere and play it was a dream of mine as a kid. It looks terrible. It sounds terrible. But 13-year-old me would still be practically soiling himself with excitement. Wind Waker with a portable screen on the go? Oh my God! Suck it, teenage me, loser. Although, admittedly, having a portable LCD screen and speakers is kind of pointless if you still have to plug the GameCube in. Luckily, I also have a portable GameCube battery. This is by Entech, who promises you can take your GameCube anywhere. They also promise up to 1.5 hours of playtime, although it takes 4 hours to charge it. So 4 hours of charging for theoretically 1.5 hours of playtime. You attach the screen to the top, attach the battery to the bottom, and plug in the speakers, and now you're ready to have some fun for at least 1.5 hours. I haven't actually tried this thing out yet though, so I'm gonna go out in the wild with my portable GameCube, looking pretty ridiculous, and we'll see if this thing can actually deliver the promised 1.5 hours of playtime. Alright, so we've got this thing plugged in, it is charging, and I can finally live my lifelong dream of playing the GameCube on the go in about 3 hours and 58 minutes. See you then. The next day, I got it to work for maybe 20 seconds or so before it flickered off. So I pulled out the instruction booklet. Again, it says to charge for 4 hours, so that's what I did. But the first time charging, you have to charge it for 8 to 10 hours. So I guess I'm just gonna leave it plugged in all day and try tomorrow. God dang it! The next day, I went to the most public place I could think of, the mall. There was actually more people there than I was expecting on a weekday, so mildly embarrassing, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm mostly worried about whether or not it's actually going to work or not. All right, here's the moment of truth. Turn the power on. Says we got power. Power for the screen on. And here we go. It didn't work. Honestly, it's a minor miracle that I even got it to work for 20 seconds the other night. It's probably just as likely that the battery would have blown up inside of the mall and I got arrested by the FBI for terrorism charges than it worked for another 20 seconds. So I was left to sit there and wallow in my self-pity, eating my sad, tasteless cheeseburger while the girls on the other table made fun of me. And frankly, I deserve it. Here I am, a sad, washed-up loser trying to live my childhood dream from 25 years ago. I mean, what the hell am I even doing here? You could just play Wind Waker on the freaking Switch too, and you probably don't even have to charge it for 10 hours first. This fantasy left me behind decades ago, and it's about time I forget it too. I need to stay here, in the present. I need to live my life. My Tomodachi life. Releasing April 16th, 2026. I mean, speaking of something I've been wanting for a long time, it's been 13 years since the last one, and the first video we did should be fun. I'll see you when I finish my video. Bye-bye.
TurboTax locations are now open in your neighborhood. So, hand off your taxes to an expert today. Now local experts do your taxes with 100% accuracy.
Scares, action, tense encounters, survival. The Resident Evil series has it all. The original survival horror masterpiece that started it all 30 years ago has evolved and been iterated upon, yielding some of the greatest gameplay, tense encounters, and scares in all of gaming. When you think of the horror genre, you're bound to have Resident Evil cross your mind, and with Resident Evil Requiem showcasing that this long-running franchise is more popular and relevant than ever before, this is no doubt not just an incredible sign for the series to come, but also for the broader horror genre. Today, we're taking an in-depth look at the absolute scariest games in all of Resident Evil, from every mainline entry to even some of the more obscure spin-off titles. And with a whopping 26 games to go over here, don that mask, sharpen your hatchet, and do me a solid by striking that like button, as this video took a long time to put together. Pick up some GamerSupps tubs while you're at it and use the code FUNMYLIFE at checkout to receive 10% off your order. Trust me, Leon absolutely chugs these things. I mean, no wonder he's in such good shape. As always, share your own lists in the comments below, and strap yourself in for a deep look at the scariest games in Resident Evil, ranked from least scary to the absolute scariest. Get down! Excellent light gun style game, but just light on the scares. In at dead last for the scariest Resident Evil game is Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. Although this shooter was undeniably fun, the game just wasn't very scary. Unlike the Gun Survivor games that will later rank, these Chronicles games for the Wii lacked the tension of those earlier first-person gun games, as this on-rails format eliminated much of the tension in favor of more scripted action. While very similar to Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles that came before it, I feel like the lighter, more colorful color palette and general scenarios featured in the Dark Side Chronicles make this just a bit less scary, resulting in the least scary Resident Evil game thus far. The game that came before it, Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles, is the other Wii shooter that is just a tad scarier simply due to its more dreary settings and environments, of which take place during iconic moments in the earlier Resident Evil games. Facing off against Jan from Resident Evil 1, escaping a zombie-infested train from Resident Evil 0, and re-experiencing Hunks, the fourth survivor mode, all in a light gun style format was awesome. And while the game is simply a good time, don't expect the scripted action to haunt your memories. Taking a break from the first-person Resident Evils for a bit, we have Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City next. While the game isn't very scary and is entirely a third-person action shooter, its setting in Raccoon City during its most haunting time makes the game sit where it's currently at. This squad-based shooter is a high-octane ride through Raccoon City's darkest hours, and its focus on action and co-op play is what makes it so low on the scares list. If you enjoy unloading a ton of lead into zombies with a massive roster of 12 playable characters, you'll feel right at home with Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Time to ditch the Wiimotes and get out those light guns and the good old PS1, because RE Survivor is up next. Although a great deal more atmospheric than its over-the-top arcade relatives in the House of the Dead series, Survivor instead allows for full character movement akin to a first-person shooter around its tight, narrow maps, while offering us the precision by way of the light gun controller. Featuring a sparse color palette and a decidedly greater focus on action, Resident Evil Survivor felt more like an action game with some good atmosphere. This game featured a ton of zombies and some iconic boss characters from the PS1 era of games. But the quality of these character models looked a bit better in their mainline counterparts and often came across as quite jarring here. Still, there's plenty of tense action to be had in Resident Evil Survivor. In line with the first-person Survivor games, Resident Evil Survivor 2: Code Veronica is next. With better graphical fidelity with the game on the PS2 hardware and sporting more eerie locations within the Code Veronica campaign, like the torture room and various other locations on Rockford Island, this game just inches past the previous Survivor game in terms of tension and scares. The greater enemy diversity this game sports certainly plays into that, as all manner of bugs, T-virus zombies, and iconic boss creatures can be found here. Do you like the Mercenaries? Well, this game is all about the Mercenaries in Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D for the 3DS. Choose between an incredible amount of RE characters across tons of different maps spanning the franchise, and you have a fun arcade-style game that you can take with you on the go. Its arcadey action and high-energy music makes this Resident Evil title not so scary, but a whole lot of fun. The game can certainly be tense as you race against the clock, trying to get the high score while your enemies try to cut you down. The graphics of the 3DS were truly tested here, resulting in one of the best looking Resident Evil games on the go. But in the scares department, there's not much going on here. Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 was a solid expansion to the previous Outbreak game, adding 5 new scenarios with the original 8 characters returning from Resident Evil Outbreak. This game put players back in the T-virus infested Raccoon City. Serving more as an expansion than an entirely new game, much of the tension and atmosphere from the missions that were added here didn't quite hit as hard as the core Outbreak game. But it was still a very atmospheric experience and was clearly ahead of its time with its online functionality.
Zoom in, sweetheart. My eyes are bad.
Some people can't help themselves. But with this little baby, my biz stays my biz. Can your phone do that?
If you're horrified by QuickTime events, like a lot of them, then Resident Evil 6 will likely be the scariest game in all of Resident Evil. Incredibly ambitious with 4 campaigns and a robust Mercenaries mode with co-op, Resident Evil 6 falls into the camp of being a bit too heavy on the action for most RE fans out there. While certain parts of the game are definitely eerie and atmospheric, these parts of the game were short-lived and were mainly tied to early moments in Leon's campaign. I especially liked the Iluzija boss fight with Chris Redfield, and I feel like the tension buildup was appropriately pulled off here. As much as Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5 had plenty of action, RE6 went complete Michael Bay with many of its set-piece moments, and its fast-paced third-person shooting made some fans feel like the series lost sight of what made it so great in the first place. Even so, Resident Evil 6 certainly has some great atmosphere and tension in spots. It's just that you have to sift through long stretches of the game to get to them. Leaning more into the action here over Resident Evil 4, but a bit more toned down when compared to Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5 is next, featuring a setting that was perhaps the least threatening and truly scary than any other we've seen in the franchise thus far. The sun-drenched areas of the game don't do much to increase your anxiety, and while its opening moments feature some genuinely effective bits of tension and atmosphere, the rest of the game fails to match that moment's heights. Sure, the crocodile-infested marshlands introduce some solid jump scares, and the excellent story DLC found in the Lost Nightmares expansion featuring the Spencer Mansion were among the game's greatest moments for scares, but the rest of the package doesn't stack up to the various other mainline entries that came before it. Bringing to the table 8 characters with unique abilities, a variety of missions set within Raccoon City during the events of RE2 and RE3, and sporting both single-player and cooperative play, Resident Evil Outbreak is often considered the best multiplayer Resident Evil game among those who played it. In today's climate, with the internet being readily available, a remake or a game similar to this style would probably do quite well, as this was one of the premier console games to feature online multiplayer on the PS2. Now, as far as scares and tension go, this game had great atmosphere and very solid survival mechanics. The lighting was eerie, and the sound design and presentation all culminated in a set of missions that were designed to make players uneasy as they ventured through Raccoon City, either alone or with other players online. While it wasn't as scary as any of the mainline installments that came before it, this game was celebrated for its online systems, resource management, and its dark, eerie tone. For those who played it, many would argue Resident Evil 0 is the hardest game in all of Resident Evil. Managing the inventory of two characters, Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen, as they frenetically survive creepy moments like leech-infested death chambers and an unsettling train taken over by zombies, Resident Evil 0 tested players' skills and guts like few other Resident Evil games did before it. A prequel to the original Resident Evil, RE0's atmosphere and tension hits harder when you struggle to keep these two characters alive, juggling resources between the two as you try to make it out unscathed. The enemy designs here are great, and while the scares don't quite hit the high notes of many of the games before and after it, Resident Evil 0 is a worthwhile game to play, even with its admittedly frustrating gameplay. Resident Evil Dead Aim is the final game in the Resident Evil Survivor series, and unlike the previous Survivor games in which they were controlled in the first person, Dead Aim instead has players navigate the characters in third person before shifting to the first person perspective to carry out the shooting. This transition, along with better graphics and faster gameplay, made Dead Aim stand out as a freakier experience than the previous Survivor titles. It's too bad that the game sold so bad, selling less than 50,000 total copies. And if you were ever curious about the best and worst selling Resident Evil games of all time, I've got a link to that video listed in the description. A well-loved and highly requested entry to get a remake, Resident Evil Code Veronica is not only a solid classic Resident Evil game, but also one with some good tension and scares. Released initially on the Dreamcast before making its way over to the PS2 and GameCube, Code Veronica follows Claire and Chris Redfield across Rockford Island and beyond in T-virus infested areas that were quite frightening. The torture chambers on Rockford Island certainly stand out here, and as a kid, fighting against Nosferatu in the midst of a violent blizzard were among the most frightening moments here. This is very much a classic Resident Evil through and through, with fixed camera angles, an emphasis on survival, with some great music and atmosphere. Let's hope this game gets the remake it deserves, and with the latest leaks and rumors suggesting Code Veronica is, in fact, the next game to get remade, potentially releasing in 2027, we may not have to wait much longer to experience what Code Veronica in the RE engine has in store for us. Nemesis is back, but this time, he's not as intimidating as he once was back in 1999. Resident Evil 3 Remake, for as fun as it was, lacked many elements about the original game that made it so unique. Gone were the Nemesis scenarios, entire sections were cut, etc., but we're not going to talk about what could have been here. The creepiest moments in the game were undoubtedly with Carlos as we scoured the hospital looking for a vaccine to cure Jill Valentine. It wasn't until we got to the upper floors of this dimly lit hospital where we got introduced to the Hunters for the first time in the game, and their aggressive behavior contributed greatly to the already thick atmosphere in the hospital. The tight and narrow hallways made for some admittedly great tension as we made our way through, listening closely for whatever could be behind the next door. It's just too bad that the scripted encounters with Nemesis made him feel so much more of a pushover here in the remake.
Shop your new mattress your way at Ashley. Browse our wide selection online from the comfort of your home, or come in and see what feels good at one of our conveniently located stores. Shop Ashley in-store or online today.
Mom, my food's cold. Mine tastes like beet. Mine tastes like pickles. You got more than me. Stop! Mom!
We should have gone to Red Robin.
Flock to Red Robin to feast on the new Big Yum deals, starting at just $9.99, featuring Red Robin favorites plus bottomless sides and beverages, all for a price you won't believe. Only at
Red Robin. Yum.
The game that started it all, Resident Evil for the PS1 was a beast of a game. Not only was it groundbreaking for its time, but it was truly frightening. No one will forget the first scene with the introduction of the first zombie encounter, nor will we forget the dogs crashing through the windows in one of the most iconic jump scares in gaming. We also can't forget about the hunters too, right? Resident Evil, for as scary as the game was, doesn't hit as hard as many of the games that immediately came after it. But its legacy lives on, and the Spencer Mansion is still a haunting setting to go through, even with how jarring the graphics and voice acting may be.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Insane asylums, eerie villages, crazy enemy designs. Sounds like solid ingredients for a scary game, right? Resident Evil Revelations 2 is that game, featuring some truly unsettling locations, great enemy designs, and unique gameplay. The virus mainly featured in Revelations 2, the T-Phobos virus, is fascinating, and its lore has haunting impacts on many of the creatures we come face to face within this game. Definitely take a look at this video going over some of the deadliest viruses and infections in all of Resident Evil to get more insight into the abominations that were produced in this game. But in general, Revelations 2 is a solid Resident Evil title, and while an uneven second half may not have been the ideal way to see its narrative come to a conclusion, this title's shortcomings don't wash away the brilliance of its best moments. Do you fear what lurks beneath the water? Maybe don't play this next game, as Resident Evil Revelations puts us in the shoes of Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, and others as we navigate a stranded and very much haunted and decaying cruise ship in the middle of the sea. Similar to games like Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2, claustrophobic and dimly lit corridors are very much prevalent here, along with the oozes, the main enemies you'll be facing off against. You've got tense boss encounters, creepy enemy designs, and horrifying clashes with fellow friends who succumb to the T-Abyss virus, just waiting to jump at you as you try to rid the threat aboard the ship. We can't ignore the horrifying element of Rachel Foley as she plays a terrifying game of hide and seek with you throughout the ship, nor the encounter with the ship's captain as he fights to stay alive as he succumbs to the virus eating away at him. Revelations is a proper survival horror game, and one that all fans of the series should definitely check out.
You know you're kinda cute without those glasses. Give me your number when I get back.
May I remind you that you're still on duty?
Story of my life.
No amount of Leon's cheesy one-liners will prevent the original Resident Evil 4's spot from being higher on this list. With its highly atmospheric locations, killer soundtrack, excellent sound design, and incredible gun feedback, Resident Evil 4 is an incredible action horror title that plays quite well to this day. While the remake may have improved upon the gameplay here, the original Resident Evil 4 is really what ushered in a new era for Resident Evil. Instead of sticking with the fixed camera angles, Capcom got creative and ushered in the era of the over-the-shoulder third-person shooting, and did so with incredible finesse. What we got was an up-close and personal look at staring down the Ganados and these particular abominations head-on. Littered throughout the game were incredibly memorable encounters like the iconic village throwdown, the regenerator encounters, and the cage fight with U3 to name but a few. RE4 was the real deal in the complete package, showcasing a beefy campaign, a small campaign with Ada and Assignment Ada, an awesome mercenaries mode, and if you had the PS2 edition onward, you were treated with Separate Ways, a proper campaign starring Ada Wong. It's atmospheric and spooky as hell in spots, and while it doesn't outshine some of the scares from games that came both before and after it, it is still a well-balanced action horror title that has withstood the test of time. The original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is an incredible Resident Evil game, one that began to take the series more into the realm of action while still firmly holding on to its horror roots. The result was a tour de force through Raccoon City in a story parallel to the events of RE2. But this time, Jill Valentine has the night of her life as the tyrant Nemesis persists on hunting her down all throughout the city. Playing this game for the first time is an experience like no other, because not only are there more zombies coming at you, but you have the unpredictability of Nemesis waiting to jump out at you seemingly around every corner. And when he does encounter you, they provide some of the most insane jump scares in all of gaming. I'll never forget this moment when walking down the stairs of the RPD only to have Nemesis burst through the window at the bottom. But it doesn't end there. Being provided the option to either face Nemesis head-on or to escape made the game more tense, as the fights with him were brutal, yet wielded great rewards. But there was always the question of what would happen if you decided to run away. The replayability in RE3 Nemesis is a lasting accomplishment that was sorely missed in its remake, and while that very remake didn't provide the scares and insidious terror of the original game, that's all the more reason to jump back into this classic Resident Evil title. Resident Evil Village is a fascinating game. Some may be surprised to see why it's so high up on this list, but in all honesty, this game, for me at least, provided a few of the most chilling horror sequences in not just Resident Evil, but all of horror in gaming. The baby in House Beneviento still gets me, especially in VR, but even without experiencing the game in VR, the atmosphere in many parts of this title is masterfully done. Whether you're in Castle Dimitrescu hunting down the 3 lady bloodsuckers, or being hunted by Lady D herself, or encountering the number of abominations haunting the narrow corridors in Heisenberg's factory, these moments offset the increased focus on action over the more horror-focused outing with Ethan Winters in RE7. We also can't dismiss the DLC story expansion in Shadow of Rose, where that game too hides some of the series' best scares. Without these moments, the game would be just a tad lower on this list, but even so, Resident Evil 8 nailed the creepy European village tone with its thick atmosphere, memorable villains, and personal first-person gameplay.
Nick needs to change his oil before leaving town for Leo's game. So he went to AutoZone, where he finds the right oil and oil filter fast. So Nick can be that dad.
Heralded as one of the greatest survival horror games of all time, the original Resident Evil 2 happens to be not only a content-rich experience, but also one of the scariest Resident Evils out there. Being able to play as either Leon or Claire, we guide our unfortunate protagonists throughout some of the creepiest locations ever to conceive a video game. The RPD's iconic labyrinth of rooms and narrow lit corridors make for some of the greatest encounters in all of Resident Evil, along with the harrowing sewer system and underground labs you explore. We first get exposed to the G-Virus here, along with an entire population of humans now transformed due to the T-Virus infecting almost everyone and everything it touches. The brilliant zapping system, allowing characters to experience completely different scenarios on consecutive playthroughs, is really what continues to surprise players even when they go through the same locations again. This unpredictability, coupled with the tyrant Mr. X being introduced on each character's B scenarios, adds even more stress to an already stressful game. This is survival at its finest here in the original Resident Evil 2, as every item, weapon, and decision you make have great impacts on your survivability here. This game, in my opinion, also has some of the best music composed for any Resident Evil, and sets the tone of the events that transpired that fateful night. It was either Resident Evil 4 Remake or Resident Evil 2 that was going to make it to the number 5 spot, but I felt like, for me, it was the enhanced graphics, sound design, and atmosphere of RE4 Remake that ultimately put it on top to earn the spot. The original Resident Evil 4 was indeed an atmospheric game, featuring some creepy sections like the opening battle in the village, the regenerator encounters, and Ashley's section. But the remake just took those moments and more, and added many additional layers of tension and atmosphere that gives it that edge. The game just has a creepy and insidious tone to it. It's unsettling and oddly quiet in some areas, only to have the game turn the tables on you and have you face off against what seems like insurmountable challenges. This is exactly what a remake should be. Not a one-to-one remake predictably playing out exactly as we remember it, but subverting our expectations to make us simultaneously go, oh, okay, and oh shit, all at once. This is all the more evident with Ada's incredible Separate Ways DLC that recently hit the game, not only expanding on the base lore of the title, but also including some fan-favorite moments from the original that were cut from the remake's campaign. Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of the greatest action horror games ever made, and is truly a fantastic remake of one of gaming's most beloved titles. In at number 4, the remake of the original Resident Evil is another prime example of executing perfectly on the tension and the horror aesthetics with the fixed camera angle perspective, and successfully remakes one of the most important video games of our time, yet expands upon it in almost every single way. The controls are better, the graphics are better, the story has been more fleshed out, more areas have been added, and of course, more enemies too. These enemies and enhanced graphics are really what make this game as terrifying as it is. Still, to this day, the Crimson Heads are unlike anything else out there in Resident Evil. That is, until the Blister Heads made their debut in Resident Evil Requiem, making you think twice about which zombies you should incinerate with matches and which ones you should spare. For those that you think you killed will likely reanimate and chase you throughout the Spencer Mansion with an intensity and lust to end your life faster than your feet may carry you to reach the next door and escape. Not only the Crimson Heads were added here, we can't not address Lisa Trevor, the new addition to the remake, as her slumbering and shackled body, along with her painful moans, will haunt you throughout your playthrough. The new additions, along with its better presentation, still provide incredible spooks and scares to this day, and while it may be somewhat controversial opinion, a remake of this remake would be the freaking best. Spencer Mansion's haunted hallways have never looked this good before, but man, can they look and feel much better in a remake, and that may just as well happen here if the latest leaks and rumors are to be believed. I'll have a video linked in the description if you'd like to learn more about the next several Resident Evil remakes that are likely to come next.
I'm gonna find Grace. She definitely has something to do with Elvis.
The latest and one of the greatest games in the series, Resident Evil Requiem comes in at number 3 as the scariest game in the franchise. The best of both worlds, Grace's survival horror and Leon's action horror, it really comes down to the excellently paced sections found from Grace's gameplay that contribute so well to this title's tension and scares. Playing her sections as the developers intended with the first-person perspective undoubtedly provides a more thrilling and haunting experience here, and even if you decide to switch her perspective to third person, you're still in for a wild ride. Leon's admittedly more action horror focus brings to the table some great atmosphere and tension, particularly in the sections and some of the interior spaces in the haunting remnants of the desolate Raccoon City. And there's nothing quite like fighting against this boss on Insanity Mode, as this guy's speed and mobility drastically skyrocket, providing an exceptionally tense encounter with incredible sound design and visual effects that will keep you on the edge of your seat. The Tyrant's reappearance is a great nod to Resident Evil 2, and while his threat is nowhere near what it was in Resident Evil 2, his startling burst through walls and the utter destruction he brings with him is a brilliant nod to one of the scariest enemies in the series. Yet, it really comes down to Grace's sections where the beautiful marriage of tense survival and bleak horror hit the hardest, with her sections of the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center and its basement portions dishing out some of the best atmosphere and terror throughout this 30-year-old franchise. The Blisterhead enemy, a nod to RE1 Remake's more frightening additions in the Crimson Heads, makes every encounter with these hyper-aggressive monstrosities more visceral and dire than ever. Add on top of that brilliant level design, a diverse range of personalities and behaviors for each of the zombies, oppressive visuals and audio design, and some great cat and mouse encounters. These are but a sample of sections within Resident Evil 9 that easily stand toe-to-toe with some of the greatest horror moments in all of Resident Evil.
It takes time, dedication, and the right support to achieve your best self. The Vitamin Shoppe health enthusiasts are here to make sure you're not wasting a single moment on the wrong supplements. You'll find a huge variety of science-backed solutions for every goal, and the people that help guide you along the path to greatness.
Don't shoot! Get down!
Coming in at number 2, we fittingly have the remake of Resident Evil 2. RE2 Remake is nightmare fuel this time around, and honestly, as creepy as the original RE2 was, the remake made everything so much more atmospheric with every single environment in the game. Not only were the corridors of the RPD much darker, but the sewers were much nastier. Freaking gross, honestly, along with a more atmospheric lab section, and sported some of the most unsettling enemy designs in any RE game. Mr. X, instead of being allocated to B scenarios like in the original, is instead introduced early on in the campaign, forcing the player to contend with a tall dude in a trench coat hell-bent on sucker punching you all throughout the RPD, his heavy footsteps vibrating violently throughout the creaking floorboards of the police station, instilling deep within the player a sense of dread. The transition to the over-the-shoulder format here was a huge win for this remake, and it made the action much more personal and terrifying, while also introducing the game to millions of people that otherwise were put off by tank controls and fixed camera angles of gaming's past. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a perfect example of allowing modern technology to enhance the feel that the original was going for. Just like Resident Evil 1 Remake did to the original Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2 Remake feels many more times atmospheric and terrifying, with exceptional sound design, the reworking of Mr. X, and mastery of the third-person perspective, ushering in one of the most incredible and terrifying survival horror games of all time. Now, for number 1, it's Resident Evil 7. It's no question for me whatsoever that this game was deliberately designed to take the franchise back to its survival horror roots after the contested Resident Evil 6. And this one was the revitalization that we never thought we would get, but something we wanted for a long while. Sure, the game lacks enemy variety with the molded, but it's the decayed setting, dilapidated environments, switched to first person, and truly freaky encounters with the Baker residents that make this game stand heads and shoulders scarier above the rest of Resident Evil. The game is just ruthless, hitting hard right from the start of the game with brutal encounters that showcase the new direction and its increased focus on horror, and bringing back the survival aspect of the series that had seemingly been forgotten. It was a technical wonder, debuting with the RE engine, allowing all to see how gross the molded can be, how haunting its corridors can look, and how visceral its action can feel. It's also a fantastic game. No, not the best Resident Evil out there, in my opinion, but easily the scariest Resident Evil game yet. From Jack Baker's tenacity, to whatever the heck happened to Marguerite, to exploring the haunting wrecked ship and the terrifying corners of the Baker Mansion, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is no doubt the scariest Resident Evil game of all time. The ball is now in your corner, folks, so do me a solid and let me know what you think is the scariest Resident Evil game of them all in the comments below. Also, while you're at it, let me know which type of Resident Evil gameplay you prefer, the more survival horror gameplay that the series was founded on, or the action horror side, popularized by Resident Evil 4. Speaking of Resident Evil 4, join me over in this video where we dive deep into the tragic evolution of Leon S. Kennedy throughout the years, starting with his debut in Resident Evil 2 all the way to the recent Resident Evil Requiem. Thanks so much as always for your continued support, and I look forward to seeing you all real soon in the next one.
Wishing there was something left to lose. This could be the day I die for you.
Eugene, I'm gonna knock out. Have a good shift.